This is Clement Greenberg. Clement Greenberg was an essayist, and he was an art critic, and he was an aesthetician that was interested in formalism. So he was really interested in the abstraction of the middle part of the 20th century, when the abstract expressionists were at their peak. And some credit him with giving, letting us know who Jackson Pollock was, and letting us know who that New York school of painters, why they were so important as abstract artists and why we should pay attention to abstraction and work. We can see that in some of his writings. He was born in 1909, he died in 1994. Interestingly enough, same years of life as Eric Hawkins, same date of birth, not date of birth, but same year of birth, same year of death. Clement Greenberg. He believed that the art of art was not in its pictorial representation, what it meant, but what we are calling the second function. But he believed that the art of the art was in its formalist elements. Now, formalist is another great word. We encounter that a lot in the visual arts, and the formalist elements are what we were thinking of as the first functional elements, those parts that we could see. I'm now going to cut to a metaphor I like to use that we look at the formalist elements. Let's look at a puzzle. This is an Artifact puzzle. And Artifact is a company that makes rather well-made, a little bit expensive puzzles. So the pieces are lovely, and you can see when you look close, each of these works is on wood, each of the pieces, and you can see that even the shapes, each Artifact puzzle has its own unique shape and its own unique cut to the shape. So no two puzzles are the same. And you'll notice that the uniqueness even has elements that might relate to what the image, what the representation of this piece is going to be. Now, one of the reasons I like a puzzle is when you look at these pieces, probably none of you know what this is. None of you know what this puzzle represents when it's put together. You're forced to just simply look at it and see the immediate materials in and of themselves and for their own sake. So largely that's the shape of the pieces and the colors of the pieces. So some of you might say, you know, I really like those colors, this kind of beautiful, almost greenish blue here, and then a deeper blue color, and then these kind of orange and reds, these warmer tones. So you can kind of see that when you look close, it's starting to become something, and there might even be elements of things as you look close. This one piece kind of gives a little bit away. If I come close in here, you can see that that's actually a little bird. And actually the pieces themselves, in the puzzle world, there's some pieces like this here, which looks like a flower. These are called whimsical pieces. There's several flower shapes here. Some of the pieces themselves look like they have little leaves on them. Yeah, and you can even see that two of these pieces here are shaped like birds. So they relate to what the image ultimately is going to be. But I like the puzzles, and if we were in a physical class, I would bring you this puzzle. I might divide it up into pieces that all absolutely fit together, so that I might give everyone in class several pieces that they could put together of the puzzle. And what's fun about it is when you first look at it, you're not sure what this image is going to be. It just is a mystery, and it's forcing you to look at the world in its first function. Just the colors, the immediate materials, the immediate feel, and the shapes. And you start looking at how they go together. So we see from Greenberg that beautiful art has to be beautiful in its first function, first. And then it can achieve a kind of beauty and an intellectual postulative beauty in its second function. And that's true of any of our art forms that we are near and dear and the ones we love. Yeah. I'm choosing to record the second half of this chapter, the videos, in front of one of my artworks. Now, this is a work of art where these are all blocks that I've created. So again, I've just made these blocks and then painted them with oil paints. So they're lovely in that, again, I love the depth of it, but there's 49 of them in this square. I'll cut away to perhaps a better picture of them. Now, different times people have asked me, what does that work mean? You know, is there something specific about it that I think, and I say no. I was just really adoring the colors. I had great fun mixing the colors, and then I had great fun deciding which colors I should put next to each other. So you can see they're not in any particular order of it, like a spectrum of color, but they all relate to each other. So in a way, it's just like, what if we put the color spectrum in a blender and picked out 49 colors, and we enjoyed a work of art with those 49 colors around it. Yeah. Now, Greenberg is kind of correct. And here's an example of why we think he's correct. Because we could take two artists and we can give them the exact same thing to draw or to paint. You know, the same way we could give two choreographers the same dance idea to choreograph. In what they'll do, the movement, the elements they choose will be different. So if we get back to our two artists, we might like one of the artists in the first function, and another artist will think, yeah, I get the subject, but I like this other one. I like the art of the other one more. And that's what Greenberg was thinking, is that the formalist elements, what the artist did, the choices they made, the materials they used, the brush strokes, the graphite, every element became part of the formalist art materials. And those are the things we love. And I would say that that makes, even within style, that makes a Picasso different than another painting. So if you are in love with an artist, you're often in love in the first function. And we're going to circle back to that idea of what does it mean to be in love in the first function.